of delivering the truth day after day, and we are just getting started.
Let's start the show.
In a world where innovation meets tradition, agriculture is evolving like never before. From the latest sustainable farming technologies to age-old practices passed down through generation, agriculture is
precious to me.
I love the animals. I don't mind getting my hands dirty. I love working.
Join us right here on CVM TV every Sunday during news at 7 as we explore the people, the science, and the breakthroughs that are shaping the way we grow, eat, and live. You don't want to miss it. This is Farming Forward.
This is CVM News at Noon for Thursday, May 15, 2025. I'm Courtney Lewis. Thank you so much for joining us. The police have clamped down on criminal activity in Manchester with several recent seizures. In the latest of a series of targeted operations carried out Thursday morning, Deputy Superintendent Kerry Duncan says officers made significant finds.
The Manchester Police removed 2 illegal firearms and 17 rounds 9mm cartridges from the street of Manchester. 5 persons were taken into custody in relation to the fine. This is as a result of an increase in criminal activities in the area. Several targeted raids were conducted in which the fines were made. There is still an ongoing operation in the parish.
Concerns are mounting in Negril following a crash that sidelines the town's only ambulance. The incident has renewed calls for urgent government intervention to safeguard emergency medical services in the popular tourist hub. Shante McNeil reports.
Before the week ends, PNP caretaker for Westmoreland Western, Ian Hales, is urging the government to take immediate action to assign a new ambulance to the Negril Fire Station. His plea follows a crash along the Sheffield Main Road on Tuesday, where the station's only ambulance was reportedly heading back to its location and collided with a Toyota Mini tour bus. With this service vehicle down, concerns over emergency medical services in the resort town have intensified.
The citizens of Negril needs an ambulance, and we need it before the week ends. This is how important it is. The tourism sector wants it, the citizens want it, and we have to deal with it now for the simple fact that we have to ensure the safety of our citizens. That's number one. Number two is we have to ensure that the people that if they fall ill, the citizens can be moved as soon as possible in an effective manner.
It's a situation which has caused great disappointment, especially for Negril's Chamber of Commerce Director, Sophie Grizzle-Rommel, who says she's tired of the repetitive cycle. She says several ambulances have been donated to the area, but they often go out that way.
But every 2 to 3 years, these ambulances meet an accident and are written off. I mean, we've had the Japanese embassy donated an ambulance, Mr. Lee Issa donated an ambulance. And every time we have an ambulance up and running, something like this happens. And we're very disappointed because in such a large area with the locals and including the tourism guests, we really desperately need an ambulance.
Hale says better training for ambulance drivers could help prevent future mishaps.
They have to move with speed in terms of ensuring that they can save a life. I understand the stress that the driver would come under, but I think training and development, training of the drivers in ensuring that the safety of the passenger, the safety of the patient, the safety of the driver, and to ensure that this precious commodity, this precious thing that we call the ambulance, is protected on the road in a safe way.
The relevant authorities are being called upon to acknowledge the seriousness of the issue.
I'm calling on the Minister of Health I'm calling on the Minister of Local Government. I'm calling on the authority. I'm calling on the government. Please ensure that Negril gets an ambulance.
Shante McNeil, CVM News.
Ground was broken for the Monroe Road to Seaview Avenue pipeline project early Wednesday. Prime Minister Andrew Holness highlighted that the development is key in improving the nation's housing solutions, saying that talk is cheap if plans do not consider water or sewage.
Regardless of the differing ideas and proposals about housing, there are some things that you cannot escape, that you must do. Any commitment about how many houses you're going to be building or how many houses you think you can build must come back to where is the water coming from. No housing proposal is credible unless you are able to answer the question about water. No housing proposal is credible unless you are able to answer the question about sewage disposal.
The government will launch the new AMA Live app, allowing pensioners to verify proof of life online, eliminating the need to visit a justice of the peace every 3 months. While some worry about how senior citizens will adapt, at least one commentator has welcomed the move, warning that delays in embracing such innovation could leave the country behind in an evolving digital world.
I know government will try. They'll try to reach people. I know there will be initiatives time and again that are announced, but there are a lot of people that don't get this access. Now, considering the digital divide, there's also another consideration. Many times you have elderly folk and they have youngsters that live with them that, take care of them in particular ways, which means sometimes, I don't know if you've had this experience or any other Jamaican experience, your grandmother call you and say, come show me how to do this on the phone or come fix this to me. In the same way, that type of engagement can exist when it comes on to an app like the AMA Life app. And when we consider that, we have to consider that this is also a push to ensure that that digital divide, that gap, we lessen that gap. I don't think we should look on our digital innovation strategies and the applications and websites and all the things we come up with innovatively as, we have a digital divide, so let's not implement it. No, I think we should implement at the same time while working on getting that gap down.
The recently closed Wholehearted Company Services Limited auto repair shop located in Ferry Pen near the St. Andrew and St. Catherine border will be permitted to resume operations once it fulfills all legal requirements. Speaking on CVM's lead story, Minister of Labour and Social Security Pernell Charles Jr. stated that efforts are currently underway to ensure the company meets the necessary criteria to operate legally in Jamaica.
The ministry didn't cause them to shut down. What the ministry is doing and did is cause them to adhere to the rule of law in Jamaica. Consequently, they had to
shut down,
suspend their services. But I've said it, and I'll say it very quickly, two-prong approach. Number one, Jamaica, respect us, abide by the law. When we go overseas, we know that if we're going the legal route, abide by the law. If we're not, we take the consequences. Number two, Jamaicans clearly have cried out and said to me and to the government and to everyone, this is a service that we trust. It is something which we see as affordable, reliable, and it's driving competition in the market. So it's not something that we're trying to create any barriers to. We are open and willing and will be facilitating once they adhere to the law, address whatever sanctions and get themselves together, which they are doing based on what I've been told and advised by my team.
Stay with us, for our live discussion is coming up next.
Are you ready for something mega? MegaMart's giving away a brand new 2025 Hyundai Tucson. Second prize, a mega shopping spree. Third prize, 30,000 monthly shopping spree. Okay, break it down for them.
Spend $6,500 or more before GCT. Fill out the entry form on your receipt. Drop it in the box. That's it.
Authorized under Section 58. You will always keep us vibing. Jamaican quality for sure. First thing when I wake up, pour up my bulk syrup. Pure water, me can't get enough. Feeling the love in the air. On the beach with my ginger beer. I'm doing low up on cash. Still can't go buy one splash. Squash, load, catch up, road. Pure, have you ready for the road?
Pure products, quality for sure.
Welcome back. It's time now for our discussion segment. A growing global movement is advocating for a moratorium on deep-sea mining, citing significant environmental concerns and insufficient scientific understanding. Now, over 30 countries, including the Dominican Republic, Mexico, and the United Kingdom, have joined the plea. These nations argue that deep-sea ecosystems could face irreversible damage from mining operations. Joining us today to discuss this is marine biologist and ocean activist Miss Robin Young. She's going to tell us a little bit more of the concerns for Jamaican waters and what she sees as the need for a moratorium on deep-sea mining. Welcome, Miss Young.
Hi, well, thank you so much for having me.
Okay, let's start with an executive order signed by U.S. President Donald Trump to fast-track deep-sea mining in the U.S. and international waters. What's really at stake here in Jamaica?
Well, the executive order, for lack of a better term, is to fast-track or to have one up on the Chinese government in terms of access to deep sea minerals. In terms of us here in Jamaica, because US and Jamaica, we are such close trading partners, economic partners, this could potentially mean that whatever they do with their deep sea bed minerals, we could also
Right. So we're seeing that this might have just been the US's way of trying to one up other countries at this time.
Yes, precisely.
So how will a moratorium prevent companies or countries wanting to carry out the mining practice?
Well, a moratorium is basically it's a little different from a precautionary pause, but it allows countries and other companies and other states to take a brief pause, see what the science is saying, see what other countries are saying. It can also help to regulate, the rules or the instructions of deep sea bed mining as well. So it allows states to take a brief pause, as I had mentioned before, see what the science is saying, so that if deep sea bed mining is green lighted, which I really hope it's not, it will be done properly, and the benefits can be shared equally among states.
So why is deep sea mining even an issue, or why is it so important for viewers to know about? What is Jamaica's official position?
As of right now, Jamaica doesn't have an official position as far as I know. We are not necessarily for deep sea bed mining, but we're not necessarily against it either. And that to me is telling, we don't have a say so far. It's important because the deep sea ecosystems are extremely, extremely important as it relates to regulating our climate. As you know, we are facing a triple planetary crisis at the moment. climate change, biodiversity loss, plastic pollution, and deep seabed mining as an industry, it's just something we don't need right now in terms of, what the planet is facing so far. So, as a small island developing state, Jamaica, the Caribbean, other small island developing states in the world, we are the most vulnerable to climate change. So it's really important for us to have a say, and for us to really think about what deep seabed mining could mean for us.
All right, stay with us, Miss Young. We're just going to take a quick break. More news at noon in a moment.
The Time is brought to you by Ford Territory.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still in our discussion segment, and we're speaking with Miss Robin Young, and she's giving us her perspective on deep sea mining. Now, Miss Young, do you think the discovery of large quantities of minerals is needed for global manufacturing on land? Will it also impact the debate on deep sea mining?
Absolutely not. I don't think that the minerals in the deep sea are absolutely 100% necessary for us to get. I believe that if we focus our efforts on renewable energy, on, alternative energy sources, which we do have available to us here on land, then deep seabed mining could become obsolete. When we think about companies, car companies, electric car companies, they are moving away from the minerals that are found in the deep sea. So for deep seabed mining to take place, maybe in the years to come, deep seabed mining isn't necessary.
So which countries are most at risk currently as it pertains to deep sea mining? Or which region of the sea?
So deep seabed mining, if it is green lighted, will take place in the Clarion-Clipperton zone, which is in the Pacific Ocean. So the countries that are most directly at risk are countries in the Pacific, Hawaii, oceanic states, Oceania, Vanuatu, Nauru. Those are the countries that would have the most direct impact from the physical activity of deep seabed mining. However, we have to remember that the ocean doesn't know boundaries as we do here on land, for example. It's just one ocean, one big vast area. So anything that does happen in the Pacific could potentially reach other places of the world. I also want to mention too that whilst the Clarion-Clipperton zone may seem so far removed from us here in the Caribbean, this is just step one of deep seabed mining. There are other mining sites that have been targeted for deep seabed mining to take place. So while yes, they're focusing on the Clarion-Clipperton zone right now, it can open the gates for other mining sites in different parts of the world. So deep seabed mining could potentially become a global industry, impacting countries everywhere.
So has there been any contact or any plans for future collaboration with the advocates from those countries that are most at risk now?
Absolutely. The ISA, the International Seabed Authority, is headquartered here in Jamaica, and 3 times per year they do have meetings to discuss the regulations and the rules regarding deep seabed mining. And I think this is the time where most advocates rally against deep seabed mining because, of course, the meetings are happening, whether it's here directly in Jamaica or in their own countries or online.
So is there anything you would like to add on climate change? I know your focus is beneath the waters, but above the waters we're seeing heat waves. We're approaching a particularly hot season. So is there anything you'd like to add on climate change, especially as countries delve into deep sea mining?
Absolutely. Climate change is not a future problem. It's happening right now, as we can see. The ocean is one of our biggest allies against climate change. The oceans help us to regulate our climate immensely, far more than trees ever could. I like to say that every other breath that you take, the oxygen comes from the ocean. So when we think about how much of a help the ocean is for us, we think about climate change as well. The heat wave coming, of course, is a direct impact of climate change. So deep seabed mining could have the potential to exacerbate climate change. As I had mentioned before, Jamaica, we're a small island developing state. We're one of the most vulnerable to climate change. So these are the things that we have to think about when we potentially want to greenlight deep seabed mining.
All right, thank you so much. That was marine biologist and ocean activist, Ms.